When you're a beginner to the GED, it can feel like you're stuck back in high school, and I don't want it to feel that way. So I made this video to give you my best tips in as fun of a way as possible.
So one thing I recommend getting is a stack of white printer paper like this for your printer so that you can work on scratch paper. Alternatively, you can use a dry erase board like this. I also recommend you pick up a couple one subject notebooks. When you're reviewing, it's a lot easier to go back through something this thick versus something that's this thick. So also, obviously, you're gonna wanna have some pens and pencils, maybe a highlighter or two. It also helps to get yourself a red solo cup like this so after your GED's done, you can celebrate a little. Now, when it comes to the calculator right here, you'll want to note that if you're taking the test online, don't buy the calculator because you're not going to be able to use your own calculator. And if you're going in person, you also don't have to buy it. They'll have one on screen that you can use. If you go in person, you'll actually be able to use a whiteboard like this. But if you take it online, you can't use any scratch paper. You'll have to use an online scratch pad. And let me just show you, this is what the online scratch pad kind of looks like. When it comes to buying textbooks, just note that there's enough information on YouTube on my channel and other places out there for free. So you don't have to buy a textbook. You can pass without one. If you can afford it, any year after 2014 or later is good. Also note that two of the most popular companies are Kaplan, and also Princeton Review is pretty popular too.
One of the best ways to increase your score on really all sections is just to read more. Reading more is going to boost your reading comprehension. There's also a strategy that's shown to increase recall of text from 48% up to 84% called paraphrasing. The R stands for read the paragraph, the A stands for ask what's the main idea and two supporting ideas, the P stands for put it in your own words.
You should know that for each section of the GED test, there's 3 different versions of the test. So if you fail too many times, eventually you're going to be retaking one of the same tests that you already took. I've failed plenty of times in my life. The other day, instead of catching a fish, I caught this breadcrumbs container. Oh wait, there's a message inside? Maybe I'll read this later in the video.
Wouldn't it be great if you had a better idea of what to expect for each section? Well, that's what I'm going to tell you now. For science, you'll have about 90 minutes and there's only one part to the test. For reasoning through language arts, you'll have 150 minutes to do 3 parts, and there's 45 minutes for the essay which you'll do in the second part. For math, you'll have 115 minutes, give or take, and there's 2 parts. Now part 1 is going to be no calculator allowed. And for social studies, you'll have about 70 minutes and there's only 1 part. Have you ever spent countless hours studying only to have trouble retaining what you learned? Well, one trick is to study your notes before bed. What you review before bed, you're much more likely to remember.
One of the all-time best tips to help you with GED Social Studies is what I'm going to tell you right now.
Whenever you see a word in an answer choice that's either identical or similar to a word in the passage, there's a good chance that that's the right answer.
So I have a confession to make. I think Tommy's depressed. I've been too busy to take him bird watching lately, so today I'm going to look for some new spots to go. Most GED test takers say the math and the RLA are the 2 hardest sections, but everyone's different. And you don't have to take all of your tests at the same time. In fact, I don't recommend this. You can schedule each section separately, and splitting them up is also going to help you with the cost because then you don't have to pay for all 4 subjects at once.
I only have 30 seconds to finish these chores. There are 3 levels of scoring on the GED. Any score above 145 is passing. Scores between 165 to 174 are college-ready scores, and scores between 175 and 200 are college-ready plus credit. But you don't need a college-ready score to go to college. Would you like to know the #1 factor that separates successful GED test takers from the failures? Well, according to researchers at the University of Kansas and Iowa State, it's desire. You have to really want it.
This next tip is for science, and it's so important that to motivate you to watch it, I'll light my hands on fire after the tip.
As a general rule of thumb, a line that's going up like this one here represents increase, and a line that's going down represents decrease, and also a line that's flat like this one represents no change. So in this imaginary example between 2012 and 2014, we would say that there's no change because the line is flat right here.
The most important tip I have for GED math
is what I'm going to tell you right now.
So most of the GED math questions are going to be multiple choice, which is really good because you can try to use this trick. I'm going to set it equal to 0, and I want to get rid of the 16. So I subtract 16 from both sides of the equation. And now I'm going to rewrite it, and let me show you what I get. So now all I want to do is take each of the answer choices, plug it in for x, until I get something that's going to make the left side of the equation equal negative 16. So let me just jump in here with 2. So I would have 2 squared minus 10 times 2 equals negative 16. So let me do the math here. 2 squared equals 4. 10 times 2 is 20, so I'd have 4 minus 20 equals negative 16. And hopefully you know that 4 minus 20 does in fact equal negative 16. So B is the correct answer.
So I found a note to talk about GED retakes.
So what happens if you fail a section? Well, typically if you don't pass on your first try, you get 2 retakes with no waiting period. Then you typically have to wait 60 days to try again. The GED testing service waives fees for your second and third try, and then after your third try, you have to pay the full amount for your fourth try. The next 2 tries are discounted. But to get that discount, you must retake within 1 year of paying the original price. Please contact the GED testing service to confirm what the policies are for your situation and location.